Somewhere in America right now, there's a 71-year-old man named Richard. Richard worked for 43 years. Richard raised 3 kids, paid off most of his house, and survived 2 recessions, 1 divorce, and approximately 14,000 company team-building retreats. And yet, every single month, Richard writes checks for bills he has absolutely no business paying anymore. He doesn't even notice them. They just slither out of his checking account like tiny financial vampires, each one taking a little bite month after month after month. And here's the kicker, folks. Richard is not special. Richard is everywhere. Richard might be your neighbor. Richard might be your brother-in-law. Richard might be, well, I'm not going to say it. When you retire, nobody sends you a memo. There's no friendly HR lady who walks up on your last day and goes, "Congratulations on retirement, Karen. Here are 8 bills you can cancel today and keep roughly $12,000 a year in your own pocket." No, that memo does not exist. So I'm going to be that memo. Today, I'm walking you through 6 bills that retirees absolutely should not be paying anymore. Bills that are quietly draining your nest egg while you're out there enjoying your grandkids and your discounted Tuesday breakfast. Let's get into it. Bill number 1, life insurance you no longer need. We start with the sacred cow, the bill people are weirdly emotional about, life insurance. Now listen, I am not anti-life insurance. When you're 35 with a mortgage, 2 kids in elementary school, and a spouse who'd be in serious trouble without your income, life insurance is a hero. It's a financial parachute. Good stuff. But here's the thing, folks. Why do you have life insurance? You have it to replace your income for the people who depend on it. That's the whole job. That's the entire reason it exists. So let me ask you something. The kids, are they grown? The mortgage, is it paid or close? The spouse, do they have their own Social Security, a pension, a paid-off house, and a nest egg that's been quietly cooking for 30 years? If you just nodded along to all of that, then I have a slightly awkward question for you. Who exactly is this life insurance protecting? Because if the answer is nobody, then congratulations, you've been paying every single month to ensure an income that you no longer have for people who no longer need it. That's like paying for a babysitter when your baby is 46 years old and owns a boat. Now, I want to be careful here because there are real reasons to keep certain policies. If you've got a permanent whole life policy with cash value, an estate planning situation, a special needs dependent or final expense coverage you actually want, that's a real conversation to have with a real fiduciary advisor. I'm not telling you to cancel anything today. What I am telling you is this. Pull out that policy, look at what you're paying, and ask the magic question. What is this actually for in my life right now? If you can't answer it in one sentence, you've got yourself a Richard bill. Bill number 2, PMI that should have been removed. Here's the deal, and I'm going to call it what it is. When you bought your house and put down less than 20%, the bank got nervous. So they made you pay for insurance that protects them, not you, them. If you ever defaulted, the insurance pays the bank, and you get nothing. You are literally paying a monthly fee to protect the bank from yourself. I know. Take a breath, we'll get through this together. Now here's the part that really lights me up. PMI is supposed to fall off automatically once you've got around 22% equity in your home. That's how it's designed. But supposed to and actually does are 2 very different animals, especially if your home value has gone up over the years. And for a lot of you, it has gone up a lot. So you might be sitting on a house that's worth way more than you owe with a mountain of equity, and you are still paying PMI every single month like it's the day you signed, because nobody at the bank is going to call you up and say, "Hey buddy, you can stop sending us this free money now." That call is not coming. The free money is nice for them. So here's your homework. Pull out your mortgage statement. If you see PMI on there, even a small line, $30, $60, whatever it is, call your lender this week and ask them to remove it. If you've got the equity, they have to. And just like that, you've given yourself a raise for the price of one slightly annoying phone call. The cable TV bill. The thing that started at $49.99 for the first 12 months and somehow, mysteriously, over the years has crept up to $160, $180, $200 a month, and nobody knows exactly when it happened. There was no announcement, it just grew, like a financial chia pet.
Let's break down what you're actually paying for. You're paying for around 300 channels. 300! And how many do you actually watch? Be honest. The news, a couple channels you like, the weather, and one show your spouse refuses to miss. That's what, 6? You're paying for 294 channels you have never once intentionally turned to. You are funding an entire network dedicated to competitive log rolling that you will never ever watch. And then there are the fees. Oh, the fees. The broadcast fee, the regional sports fee, and half of you don't even watch sports. You're just paying a sports tax for the privilege of existing. The equipment rental fee for that cable box from 2009 that sounds like a jet engine every time you change the channel. You've paid to rent that box 10 times over. You could have bought it. You could have bought 10 of them. Here's the good news, and this is where it gets fun. The world has changed. Streaming services let you pay for just what you actually watch, often for a fraction of the cost. There are live TV packages with your news and your shows for way less than the cable monster. And here's a little secret. Even if you want to keep cable, just calling them and saying the magic words, "I'm thinking about canceling," will very often get you transferred to the retention department, where a nice person suddenly discovers a much lower price they never mentioned before. Funny how that works. So here's your homework. Pull out that cable bill, find the real bottom line total with all the fees, and ask yourself, am I getting $200 a month of joy out of this? If not, you call them and you either negotiate hard or cut the cord. Knocking $100 a month off your cable is $1,200 a year, right back in your pocket. Now, here's how almost every storage unit story begins. It was temporary. That's the magic word. Temporary. You were moving or downsizing, or mom's house got cleared out and you needed somewhere to put some stuff for just a few months. Totally reasonable. And then a few months became a year, and a year became 5 years, and now you're paying $100, $150, $200 a month every month to store boxes you have not opened, looked at, or thought about since the day you closed that metal door. Let's do the painful math because it's important. Say it's $150 a month. That's $1,800 a year. Keep that unit for 5 years and you've handed over $9,000. $9,000. And here's the gut punch question. Is the stuff inside that unit worth $9,000? Be honest. For most folks, you could replace everything in there for a fraction of what you've spent storing it. You're not protecting your treasures. You're running a very expensive museum and you're the only patron and you never even visit. There's an old box in there labeled Kitchen Misc. You have not needed a single thing from Kitchen Misc in 5 years. You don't even know what's in it. Nobody knows what's in it. It might be empty. You're paying rent on a mystery. Now, occasionally there's a real reason. You're between homes, you've got genuine heirlooms with no space for them yet, that kind of thing. Fine. But for a whole lot of you, that unit is a habit wearing a padlock. So here's your homework, and it's a fun one. Go visit your storage unit this week. Actually open it. Walk through it. If you find yourself looking at your own belongings going, I forgot I even had this, that's your answer. Keep what you truly love, sell or donate the rest, and cancel that unit. The storage company has been the real owner of your stuff this whole time. Time to fire them. Number 5, the second car you rarely use. Now, when you were both working, 2 cars made total sense. You went one way, your spouse went the other, everybody needed their own wheels. Fair enough. But here's the question for retirement. Where exactly are you two driving off to in separate directions every morning? You're retired. You go to the same places, together. The grocery store, the doctor, brunch, the kids' place on Sundays. You are statistically in the same car 90% of the time. And meanwhile, that second car is just sitting there, aging, depreciating, slowly turning into a very expensive lawn ornament. Now here's where it gets painful. Because a car is not one bill. A car is a whole bundle of bills wearing a trench coat. There might still be a car payment. There's the insurance, a second full policy. There's the registration every year. There's the gas, the oil changes, the new tires, while it's in here, you also need brakes, surprise at the shop, the inspection, and the depreciation quietly eating thousands of dollars of value while it sits in the driveway being admired by absolutely no one. Add all that up, and a second vehicle can easily run you $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a year, every year, to own a car that mostly watches the other car leave. That's not a car. That's a hobby, an expensive four-wheeled hobby that takes up half the garage. Now, I know, for some couples, 2 cars genuinely is a necessity. Separate activities, caregiving in different directions, or you live somewhere where being stranded isn't an option, then keep both. No argument from me. But for a lot of retired couples, that second car is pure leftover habit from your working days. And when you do occasionally need a second set of wheels, a rideshare or a quick rental costs a tiny fraction of what it costs to own, insure, fuel, and maintain a whole second vehicle year-round. So, here's your homework, and it's the biggest one. Sit down with your spouse this week and ask the honest question. In the last month, how many times did we actually need 2 cars at the same time? Not wanted, needed. Bill number 6. Paid tax preparation fees. Now this one's sneaky because it feels unavoidable, right? Taxes are complicated, somebody's got to do them, so every spring you hand over a couple $100, sometimes $300–400 to a preparer or a software company to fill in the boxes, and you just accept it as the cost of being alive. But here's what a lot of retirees don't realize. Once you're retired, your tax situation often gets simpler, not harder. You're not juggling a paycheck and overtime at a side gig anymore. For a lot of folks, it's some Social Security, a pension, maybe some withdrawals, and a little dividend income. That's a much more straightforward return than the working years. And here's the part nobody advertises. There are free programs built specifically for you. The AARP Foundation runs a free tax prep service aimed at older taxpayers, staffed by trained volunteers, and you do not have to be a member to use it. The IRS has free guided filing options for people under certain income levels. And there are community programs, often at libraries and senior centers, designed to do exactly this for free, with real humans who know the senior stuff, like how your Social Security gets taxed. So, for a simple return, paying $200, $300, $400 to have someone type your numbers into the boxes can be money you simply did not have to spend. Now, fair is fair. If your situation is genuinely complicated with a business, rental properties, a big estate, complex investments, that kind of thing, then a good tax pro absolutely earns their fee and then some. I'm not telling you to fire a preparer who's saving you more than they cost. What I'm telling you is don't pay complicated return prices for a simple return life out of pure habit. So, here's your final homework. Before next tax season, not in April when everybody's in a panic, but in the calm months, look up the free senior tax prep programs in your area, like AARP Tax Aid, and see if your return qualifies. If it does, that's a clean $200, $300, $400 win every single year for the rest of your life. So, here's what I want you to do. Don't just nod along and forget about this by dinner. Pick one, just one. The easiest one for you. Maybe it's canceling a subscription, maybe it's calling about that PMI, maybe it's finally opening that storage unit. Pick one and actually do it this week, because one win turns into 2, and 2 turns into a habit, and a habit is what keeps your retirement comfortable for the long haul. And quick reminder, none of this is personalized financial advice. I'm a friendly guy on the internet, not your advisor. So for the big decisions like dropping a vehicle or changing up your insurance, make sure it fits your situation first. If this helped you, you know what to do. Subscribe so the next video lands right in your feed, and drop a comment down below. Which one of these were you secretly still paying for? Don't be shy. We're all a little bit Richard. No judgment in this house. Until next time, folks, keep more of your money, enjoy every single day of this retirement you worked so hard for, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourselves.